Let's talk about learnhacktify.in. So we are live. You fellas have a lot of value on posted on learnhacktify.in, and let's actually why don't you tell me a little bit more about the platform, what it's all about? Why are the courses so cheap compared to other places? Because this is so I've actually looked into the courses myself. I've actually taken the courses myself, some of them, and it's like you provide a lot of value that's not out there. You're doing stuff that's not out there. So tell me all about it.
Yeah, Shifa, if you could please start.
Okay. So learn.hacktify.in is our own platform wherein we have posted some recorded content as well as we provide the live training. The live training as in we come live to teach you for 7 days and then we give you the recordings for the same. So that if you miss class due to any reason, maybe due to bad internet, this can be found very easily in India. So yeah, if you have bad internet or you missed it due to some other office meeting or stuff, so then we give you the recordings as well as a lot of more stuff for free so that you can stay connected to us. There's a private community which we have developed. We give you the access to the private community for next 1 year so that we can be in touch and we solve all your doubts and priority. So all the recorded contents, we have divided the contents into different sections. We started with bug bounty version 1 that went mind blowing. We have got amazing response, around 50,000 students in one
Wow.
single course. And even it's performing really well even after OS 2021 is online, but still there are so many curious minds who are always trying to get our courses, trying to reach out to us. Bug Bounty version 1 was a kickstart to Hacktify's journey. Then we launched V2. It again went really well because we came up with a lot of more vulnerabilities, live targets, everything that we had done research on. We tried to add as much as POCs we can into the courses. And then we made courses on Nmap, recon, scope expansion. We made courses on our views on top 5 tools and techniques for pen testing. We made course on CVE. We have got a lot of response saying that CVE is the most unique idea that we have came across, and we have just put it in the form of course explaining the new CVEs and exploit. With this, we recently added a new course. I'm not sure if you have looked into it or no.
I'm
So
looking
there's a
right now.
course.
What's it called?
The new course that we have launched is special chapter 1. So this chapter 1 consists of nuclei exclusive templates. So as soon as any new CVE or new exploit comes up, so me and Rohit, we also have a small research team. So what we do is we quickly write a script in the form of nuclei template so that it can be added into the nuclei tool, and you can quickly scan the bunch of targets that you have handy in hand. So you have a list of target, you have a special nuclei template ready, which is not publicly available, and you can scan all the targets. So this way, a lot of students have got so many bounties. We are just giving this in $10, which is equal to Indian 750 rupees. So we are going to add 50 templates, exclusive 50 templates, which are not publicly available. We do it so quickly so that to give the content to you on time so that you don't miss anything. Bug bounties, to me personally, I feel bug bounties is something who is doing first. If you're doing a bit late than me, then you're not going to get anything. It will be probably the duplicate vulnerability which you're going to submit. So bug bounties is something wherein you have to be very quick, and CVEs and the new exploits are something that is going to make you or put you into the first place. So this is the reason we are going to come up with such new unique ideas, and we have tried putting all onto this learn.hacktify.in.
Awesome. So I'm actually looking at the special chapter 1, and I didn't know about it. It seems really interesting. And I'm actually, after we finish our talk here, I'm actually going to look deeper into what it's all about. Really, really excited about that. So what you're doing here, as I said, is really awesome. I didn't know you have those many students, like 52,000 students in one course. So for everyone who's actually watching, do check this out, because this is something that you can invest in. It's there. There's no other platform, as far as I know, other training platform, especially if you talk about real life training, because to be honest, I personally don't look into CTFs and I don't do CTFs, but this is actually real stuff. And Rohit, I know that you're doing like these amazing one-liners that actually give you direct access to CVEs. Like you're putting these proof of concept CVEs into one-liner, like you did a few days ago with the most recent path traversal, very famous vulnerability. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is really awesome, and we have to actually increase awareness to the platform. And I'm actually going to do that. If there's anything that you want to add, Rohit, to what Shifa said.
Sure. So I just want to add one thing is the journey that we started online due to pandemic has been really very exciting. And the question that was expressed by Christy, that why do we keep our courses so cheap? The main motive of keeping our courses very affordable was that let everyone who cannot afford these courses as well jump into bug bounties and know about bug bounties, what it actually is, so they can also start to plan their careers into this, or maybe uh, uh, earn here and there few bounties and get stable with maybe certifications, or maybe something that actually helps them promote it. I am coming from a background in which I have seen a lot of places they usually charge a lot of high amount of money for certain programs and courses which are not that industry oriented, to be specific, or they just do not teach you what exactly is required in industry. So our main motive was to solve these two problems. First of all, skip the labs. We do not want to show the broken environment, because broken environment is totally different than what real industry needs. Developers already knows that stuff, and they are going to prevent the basic DVWA stuff that we generally
Right.
test on. So that
Yeah.
is not going to be useful at all. Or you may, after doing a certain course, think like, I have actually not understood anything, or I'm not able to reproduce this on live websites. Have I not done it right? Or am I not, am I the misfit into here? Because I already did the training, but I don't know things. So this is not for me. So we did not want that to happen. So we thought that we are going to take examples of live websites to show what actually developer thinks and keep it super affordable. So let people also trust us that what we are providing is valuable. Keep it affordable so it reaches to maximum amount of people and they do not face the same things that we faced. So that is the only reason we keep it super affordable. We do a lot of giveaways, and
I know.
recently we have started a 3-month internship in which we are going to connect with them personally every week. That is free of cost, and teaching them about OWASP top 10. We have compiled all the HackerOne reports, different scenarios that hackers just try to bypass and got a bounty for that. So we took our developer team. They have worked for 6 months, and they have just replicated environments for all the reports. So we have around 80 plus labs that we have created for the internship, which contains each and every scenario for HackerOne report, which was complicated and difficult, so that people can practice on that. So I think definitely it will be very helpful for everyone.
Of course, I mean, what you've done there is actually one of the most practical and probably the fastest way to learn stuff in this field. Because as you've said, if someone who wants to get into the field, wants to get training in the field, and they're actually doing some sort of damn vulnerable web application, they might learn something, but they don't learn. They learn about stuff that might not have implications in the real world, because stuff like that, as you've said, is most likely going to be patched by developers, because developers are not stupid. And if you're actually replicating from reports, as I often say, that one of the best ways to learn anything, not only in cybersecurity, but is through first-hand experience. And in this case, first-hand experience is from reports, because reports have either been validated or rejected. And if a report has been validated, that's first-hand knowledge of something, and then you can start trying to find the same thing yourself, or maybe actually develop something similar to that. So it's obvious that you're doing a lot of work, both of you, but with this much work, do you actually still have time to perform cybersecurity research, bug bounties, and all that?
So to this, I would like to answer this question. We recently submitted 36 bugs to Apple, and 4 of them we have received bounties for. Still, there are a lot in conversation. Let's see how it goes. So yeah, we try to take out some time so that this is a refresher for us. We collaborate, we work together, we write scripts, we do a lot of stuff. Still, we managed to find out new exploits, vulnerabilities. We have a list of targets as well as VPS running, who is working for us day and night. So this is what we are currently doing in bug bounties. Rohit, if you are doing something else apart from I know.
Just I want to add something. So you're not actually submitting one vulnerability at a time. You're actually submitting like 30, 40 reports at a time. Well, I mean, come on. Go ahead, Rohit, tell me.
Sure. So you are right, Christy. We actually are actually caught up with a lot of work. Apart from trainings, we are currently indulged with Indian Army for making a hackathon possible. There's an annual hackathon for 3 streams, which is web application security, software defined radio, and secure coding. So we are mentoring the web security part. Most of our time is going on over there. Apart from that, we also have took up some projects and services which we are working on. Apart from that, we are working on 2 courses. First, which is almost completed. I'll just announce what is the next course that we are going to launch very soon. It is based on Linux and Bash scripting for bug bounties. And we're going to teach how you can use effectively Linux and Bash for pen testing and bug bounties. And we got this constructive feedback from a lot of people, that people know how the approaches, but they're not able to code their tools. They are very much they rely, or they are reluctant to use tools, and if they stuck up at certain functionalities, they just give up. For example, a lot of people are not able to take multiple URLs in FUF while fuzzing, so they just leave it over there. They don't know how to modify that tool. So we thought that this is a very big problem. Why not we teach students to how they can modify those tools as well as create their own tools? So we came up with this idea, and we are about 70 to 80% completed with this course. And I think this will be useful for people. That is what we have thought. And we'll see how it goes. Apart from this, we have a small team of 3 to 4 people, which works on doing R&D, which basically is identifying new exploits, writing vulnerabilities, scripts, and basically automating it over all the targets that we have from project discovery, or we basically try to identify targets from ASN ranges, CIDR ranges, and we basically try to mass hunt what we have identified something new. So we recently identified CVE on iSwarp mail server. So we just scraped all the subnet CIDR from ASN from all those organizations, and we started sending reports from them. So this is generally what we do, just because the less amount of time that we have that we can put in bug bounties. We try to research something out which is not very common, so that whatever time we invest, we basically get something out of it, and we try to mass scale it everywhere.
Yeah, so it's actually very valuable, the little amount of time that you're actually putting into research itself. So with this new course, are you actually going to teach the students your one-liners?
Definitely. We have tried to break the processes very simple. I have seen a lot of people not able to install Go tools because of a lot of dependencies. The Go source sometimes do not work, or there are some in project discovery, subfinder itself into a specific version, there was a broken dependency and people could not install that tool. Why do wait for a tool to get fixed? Why we cannot make our one-liners? So we have just taken out all the data sources from those tools that can be just coded into one line, and we can make our own bash scripts. So that is going to be super useful. It contains a lot of one-liners that is going to be helpful, and people can also remember it quickly, so that they do not have access to their systems. If they are somewhere else, oh, they know this is the logic that we have to input, and that way they will be able to do it without the tools also.
Of course. So you're actually trying to teach one of the most important skills when it comes to maybe not only cybersecurity and bug bounty hunting, but also to someone who's working in computer science, which is debugging. Debugging is probably, I don't know, it's going to save you a lot of time. And this is actually very useful if you're actually coding. I know you're doing bash coding. I'm not sure how good you are in Python, but from my background, I remember that the most efficient way for me to learn Python was to actually fix broken stuff. So I think that's off because, again, we're going back to the same thing. It's firsthand experience. So yeah. So the little time that you have for doing research and bug bounties, what are some of the most common tools that that you're actually using, or what are some of the approaches, or if both of you can talk about this like in a few words?
Sure. So I would start. So basically, we try to identify something which is not common, or which is not publicly known. How do we approach to that? Is we basically try to first identify what is actually running on internet. So we make use of Shodan instances. We have the pro version for both of it. We try to identify a lot of hosts which are exposed and what are the different CMS versions they are running, and we just try to download those CMS, and we try to figure out what is their code, maybe by doing a static analysis or a dynamic analysis. Using this way, we have identified subdomain takeover vulnerabilities which are not publicly available into the project discovery templates data sources or anywhere into the internet. We have identified. I'll disclose that as well into this, so people will love it. So it is Wagon, WAGON. It is not publicly available yet. We have reported 13 to 14 on Bugcrowd itself and got paid for it. And there are a lot of such websites which are running Wagon. So you can do a quick subdomain takeover onto that. Like this, we have a lot of things that we have identified. So we basically try to identify CMS which do not have a common vulnerability which is open. Definitely, if we identify vulnerabilities by running nuclei templates, we try to run other softwares or scripts. Apart from that, we try to also check based on static analysis if we see if there is some code which looks malicious, or if there is a function which is not correct, then we try to just fiddle it and we try to fuzz it and see if we can break something in. Or we try to perform dynamic analysis, and if we see if these password reset functionality into this CMS is not working correctly, and we can just reset the password, maybe by using array of emails, or maybe by just modifying something here and there, then yeah, so we have got a vulnerability. Now we also have a CVE for it. So this way we generally approach this. Most of our time goes actually in identifying the tech stack of how organizations work, what are their underlying tech stack, and if the technology stack is open source, it's good for us. If it is professional paid, we generally do not look at it, because or we keep it under priority. We first look up what is open source technology stack, and we try to identify things into it.
Right.
This is the first approach that we go with. Yeah.
So your approach is non-conventional or unconventional, which is why it's probably very successful, as you've been telling about all these reports that you're sending. So from my understanding, you're mainly focusing on web assets.
Correct. Web
Okay,
assets.
so when it comes to mobile or network, you don't do them at all, or just have them in a lower priority state?
Correct. So generally in bug bounties, we do not consider network and mobile. It's not like that, but we do services for these. So we have clients. For them, we are doing network pen testing and mobile pen testing. But in general, when we are just reaching out for bug bounties, we focus more towards the web part. Why not mobile? Is generally whenever we identify a lot of applications, the major factor comes over there is SSL pinning. So majority of time would go over there, breaking that part. And so we just try to our team does mobile security testing, because we have identified a lot of bugs that were not available into their web application but into the mobile application. But the priority goes something like is web, then mobile. And we generally do not test networks for bug bounties, but in case we identify a particular subnet range, we just scan their ports and services and identify if we can reach there.
All right. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to mobile penetration testing, it often is the case that you end up working with a web asset like an API or something. So when you're testing a mobile application, part of it is of course testing the storage system on the device itself, testing how it communicates, data in transit, how safe it is. You of course test for input validation stuff. You look into the source code, but a lot of times the applications, probably most of the times, the applications communicate with an API, and you end up testing that API. It often is that it's not the same API as the web. I've encountered in some situations it's not the same API as from the web application itself, which it's the case that you are more likely to find some valid vulnerability, because not a lot of people get to test that application. But of course, that side of the API. But of course, as you've said, it's a priority. And if you focus on just one thing or one or two things, you're going to become much better at that. And your stuff is actually for the web, mostly for the web, as for right now. From my understanding, that's the top priority. And then if the situation demands, you can also shift into mobile and also network pen testing.
Yeah. So having said that, Shifa is an by profession a mobile application developer. So Shifa, you can share your thoughts as well.
Yeah, I started my journey as an Android mobile application developer, native programming. Then I shifted to hybrid. I have worked on iOS as well. So yeah, the next course is what I am suggesting, Rohit, is that we can together make a course wherein I be teaching about how the application is been developed, so that to understand the functionality behind it, and then Rohit can take the pen testing part. So yeah, we are working on both these applications, Android and iOS. And I come from a strong development background, and Rohit is strong pen tester. So this is a combination which has always worked out for us. Not only mobile, I by profession am a Android developer, but I have also worked and understanding on web development. So that has always helped us come up with something that is unique. And yeah, I try securing things, and Rohit loves breaking. So this is how yeah, so this combination has really worked very well. We have this in mind that yeah, we are going to work on mobile very soon, but then the list for web is so long. We are trying to complete the first part, and then we'll take up mobile, and we are going to give you the content which you have never seen before.
Awesome. So yeah, I think so there's a very large lack of resources when it comes to mobile application penetration testing. And I think that once you get over with the priority stuff level, I think it's going to be really useful if you actually focus on the mobile pen testing itself, because as you've said, if you're doing it from this perspective, if you're doing it from someone who actually teaches us how to build web applications or mobile applications, or how the mobile applications are built, and then the second part comes Rohit and actually tells us how to test for vulnerabilities, that's going to be a really powerful combination. And I'm actually looking forward to that. Okay. One thing that I also want to talk about, and it's probably one of the things that's not immediately available out there and it's often ignored, is resources. And I'm talking about resources not for beginners but for intermediate level people. So if you have resources for non-beginner resources, because I know probably most of the people who are in this field, or most of the resources that are available right now, not only in cybersecurity, bug bounty hunting and research, but in most of the fields, most of the resources online are beginner level. When it comes to intermediate level, there's a large lack. So if you have some resources to share with us for pen testing and bug bounty hunting, intermediate level, I'm all ears, and probably everyone who's actually gonna watch this video.
Okay, sure. So you are absolutely correct. There are a lot of beginners. There are a lot of resources focusing towards the beginner side of it, and less resources focusing towards the intermediate or maybe advanced level. We have curated some of these things, and we take this as our daily source to learn about things and just to know what things are going on. So first is SSD Disclosure. SSD Disclosure is one of a very good, excellent website, which basically
I'm taking notes.
Sure.
I'm
so
taking notes. Okay.
Sure. So it is somewhat works a similar principle to Zerodium, wherein they purchase premium exploits. But these people out there on SSD Disclosure, they are awesome. They also disclose whatever have been submitted after a specific period of time. So it's a very good resource to identify the exploits which are being written in the raw format by the researchers and submitted to SSD Disclosure. And they just disclose whatever bugs have been reported to them. They also acquire premium exploits. So feel free, if you identify any premium, any exploits, then you can definitely report there if you want. But using that particular resource to absorb a lot of things and reading raw reports from researchers, it's awesome. So SSD Disclosure is first thing that I every day look upon just to grab new things that are being coming over there. Second is PT Swarm. PT Swarm again writes very good reports regarding the research their engineers have been doing. I really love the work that they are doing, and really love reading the reports as well. They are very clear and in detail for whatever work their researchers have been continuously doing. So these are the first two very good resources which I can consider as intermediate. We can learn a lot of things from here which are not available on other medium blogs, you can say, which are being written by a lot of people. Definitely we can absorb a lot of information from medium blogs as well. People choose to write there. I also like to see people writing on their personal blogs. So we can also switch over there to identify things like a very good researchers who are on HackerOne. Definitely, I look upon their blogs. For example, Orange writes very good, excellent blogs. Their DEF CON talks are really very awesome. Inti from Integrity, very good blogs. Those are very good resources to learn about new things. Definitely, I have seen recently a lot of people starting Twitter threads. So I can
Right.
count that into as well. Short threads with only a certain limit of characters and absorbing information from that is excellent. Not reading a full blog, but just reading out those threads. So that's again a very good thing. Following the right hashtags like infosec, CVEs, exploits have been turned out to be useful in extracting and absorbing useful information from there. So Twitter is again a very good resource, and I spend my day on Twitter identifying stuff here and there. And if I find a particular hint for certain thing, I just keep on going into that direction, digging up more. That if I can identify more information on this, DEFCON talks are really very great. They you may not directly get something out of it, but definitely it
Yes.
helps you build up your mentality, and oh, why did he think like that, why I was not thinking in a certain manner. So DEFCON talks are really very good. AppSec village, red teaming, DEFCON red teaming village, and all that stuff is really excellent. Do not spend time watching Netflix. Apart from this, watch these things. They will help building your mentality, and you will start thinking in a certain manner in which the security researchers were thinking. And
Awesome.
yeah, so this is it.
On the same note, you were saying, I want to add something here. So you were saying that sometimes it's very good not to actually to get knowledge, not necessarily firsthand, but maybe indirectly. Like, for example, I'm currently taking a course, an actually entire specialization on Coursera for Google Cloud Security, because so it's like 7 courses for 1 to 4 weeks each of them. So it's like I do not actually learn how to exploit Google directly from that, but I'm actually building the knowledge so that I can understand the infrastructure that powers the entire Google Cloud platform. And that's firsthand. It's from Google themselves. Employees at Google actually teach those courses in the specialization. So it's not like I'm getting firsthand, I'm not getting direct how to exploit this, but I'm actually understanding what's going on in there so that I can come up in time with different ways in which I can participate and disclose bugs for their vulnerable VRP program. So yeah, that's really, really useful. And on the same note, there's also the talks from OWASP. OWASP have many YouTube channels. If you're watching OWASP, I think you would get a very good, I think that's a very good way to get indirect knowledge of how stuff works. Maybe that would actually in time give you ideas on new attack vectors, because if you do that, it's very likely that you won't end up in submitting duplicates. So yeah, I guess that's what I wanted to add. Now, we've gone more than I wanted with the recording, so let's tell people where they can find you, and yeah, what is the best way for people to actually get in touch with you with your work? We have the platform learnhacktify.in, and I'm actually going to link it. What else?
Shifa, go ahead, please.
YouTube channel. That's again Hacktify Cybersecurity. We have Twitter handles. If they have some quick doubts, they can reach out to us over Twitter. I am more active on LinkedIn. Rohit is on Twitter. And one last thing, they can always mail us if they have some long doubts, which will take a while for us to look into and then to reply. So if that's something very quick, we can just give them the suggestion. But if there's something that actually take research for us as well, so I would prefer an email, so that when I open my mailbox, there's something which I feel is pending, and I'll obviously look into it. So yes, email is a good option. shifa@hacktify.in and rohit@hacktify.in. We have made it simple.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Adding to that, one more thing, Shifa also runs a Medium blog, so wherein she keeps posting about a lot of stuff. For example, top cybersecurity interview questions, which are basically a compilation of the interview questions of our students. So our students who have learned have got placed in India, in Mumbai and other different places, in banks and big four companies. And we have just compiled all the questions that we have seen that which were asked to them by the interviewers. So it is a series of 5 blocks, so which contains, I think, 10-15 questions in each block. So that is available on Shifa's Medium, wherein people can also take advantage of that.
I'm going to link everything in the description. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christy, for inviting us. And I really enjoyed discussing this event. I hope the audience would love it too, as well as when they have doubt, they can feel free to reach out to us anytime. Yeah, thank you. And you have been a good supporter of Hacktify Cybersecurity since beginning. So thank you so much for being with us, supporting us all the while when we wanted, and expanding Hacktify to your area and spreading awareness about it is most important, I feel. Thank you so much for doing your part and giving us this opportunity to connect with you.
Awesome. Thank you. So there's probably going to be more recordings like this one. So let's just say looking forward to the next one.
Awesome. I'm really a big fan of Christy's work. I know he's doing a lot of AI work, which is below my understanding, but definitely I look forward for Christy as well to give his inputs on what he's doing with AI stuff and how we can use that in cybersecurity in upcoming sessions.